Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
News team, assemble!
It's back and bigger than ever. It's the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carey, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
All right, welcome back. It is the unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com, where the usual crew is back together. Eddie is back from Mexico. Welcome back, Edward. Do you feel more cultured after your trip?
Is that what you're welcome? No, that's your welcome.
It's nothing, I think.
Oh, see. Yeah, it's good to be back.
De nada means
thank you. What? You're welcome.
You're
Something
welcome,
like that?
I believe.
I don't know. Who cares? Back in the States. It's good
welcome.
to be back.
Gracias is thank you.
It was very good. It was very weird to because I never listened back to the pods, but it was very weird to listen to the pod last week.
You listened, huh?
Well, to the first part, just to make sure I knew everything about On 3 and Rivals and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, once we got to the point where I think that discussion ended, I did not listen after that.
Yeah, I mean, here's your update. It's going to be a slow process. I mean, everybody wants to know. I know Shannon Terry's put some stuff out there about, your subscription, working here and working there. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. They're currently working with a lot of the new publishers that are coming over, especially for sites that they don't have already, and some of the bigger sites. And it's going to take them a while to get through that. And you've got contracts to deal with and all that stuff. And so it'll just be a process. And they're working their butts off. But programming and stuff always takes the longest. Back when we were at Rivals, it took over almost a year before they got like their version of the crystal ball going. And then NIL started, and we were just like, yeah, that's going to take another year or two. So, yeah, it's going to be a process. I've been getting some emails from people. There's no way for you to access other sites right now. That's something that they're working on. So just be patient with us if you could, as I know that all this stuff will be sorted out, but I really don't have anything to add to what's already been said or what we've said on the board. So anyway...
Shocking news to find out in Mexico. I sent that when George sent the DM. I opened it up. I just happened to be looking at my phone at the time. I was like, "Holy shit, that's insane!"
We just bought out the company that we left 2 years ago.
Just crazy.
It was like
it's
2 years to the day, basically.
Yeah, because our first day was April 1st or May 1st.
April 30th was our last day.
April 30th. That's right. Crazy.
So 2 years ago, and so
that's also crazy that we've been with On 3 for 2 years.
I don't feel like it's crazy at all. We've done so much shit.
No. I feel like it's been longer.
Really?
To a certain extent, kind of. But
I agree.
I guess maybe not.
I just probably make your life
it's gone really fast.
harder than it needs to be. It's probably my fault. Anyway, there was something else. Oh, yeah. There's something that we need to announce. It's a big weight off of my shoulders. I know Eddie's shoulders. We have finally taken all that NIL money that we did for the softball T-shirts last year, and we have sent it upstairs to the Sooner Club. So happy you guys. I mean, you're awesome out there. Soonerscoopstore.com is our store. We don't really publicize it a whole lot. We haven't since we moved to On 3, but we need to get back to doing that.
It's crazy to think that we don't have a whole lot of shirts left. I mean, we do.
We did a Caleb Kelly family business yesterday, and I felt so bad every time I would show this side of the room.
That's what I was thinking when we were setting up the
empty.
3 shot, because there aren't a whole lot. I mean, none of the the sleep, eat, run, or sleep, eat, run.
Very few of those are left.
Very few.
All
a couple
of
the U shirts and stuff like that.
But look, I gave it up to George last week. I give it up to Eddie this week. He does a great job with the merch. and he probably sent most of your shirts out to you. And I'm happy to report that we were able to donate $10,000.
It's awesome.
To the women's softball program. And so you don't have to ask us, where'd this money go? It went to Sooner Club. It went to the Investing in Champions Foundation, which, it's still kind of, today's a big day because the Claudia Wilkin ruling, something could happen today with the House versus NCAA. It could be good. It could be really bad. She could reject it, and then you go further into the court system, and this takes longer, and we're still in the wild, wild west for a lot longer.
All right, I'm ready to go back to Mexico, I think.
But no, it was great to be able to write that check and give it to Sooner Club, and I did get a text message this morning from them thanking me. So
we were wondering if it had been received yet.
Well, I did it like a typical new, like a young would do. I didn't tell anybody. I just went online and you can donate. That's crazy. You can donate $10,000 just by going to a web page. I mean, I know the dark web is out there and all kinds of. We've all probably had our credit cards fraud alerts turned off at some time or another. But the stuff that you can just do. So I'm sure most people want to be. We just don't care about having our asses kissed for giving money and stuff. You guys did it. You guys bought the shirts. We just, designed them and printed
facilitated
them.
It.
Yeah, facilitated it and sent them out to you. So you guys are the reason that we're able to give that check. Everybody that bought one of those shirts.
Awesome.
So.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Really good. So anyway, moving on. Josh, welcome aboard. Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, guys. Just here. I'm a little concerned that you guys can even hear me, but I will say today's a big day for me, guys. There's a lot happening in my world.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's probably soccer.
Purely sports related. Nothing life or death. Arsenal, their season pretty much is over if they don't win today, and I feel kind of the same way about the Thunder.
What?
So,
oh God, let's just get your Arsenal stuff out of the way before.
Who do we play today, Josh?
PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, and they have to play in Paris, and they are down 1-0. They lost at home 1-0 last week. So
they got scored twice.
Yeah,
two more than twice. Arsenal. I mean, PSG.
Yeah, they've got. Well, if they were to win, if they win 1-0, 2-1, if they win with a 1-0 or a 1-goal advantage, it'll go to extra time, and then you'll get into. If that still doesn't settle it, then obviously you go to penalty kicks. So, chance for a lot of high anxiety for Josh here in the next 3 or 4 hours.
What time is this at?
2:00 is kick.
Okay. Might have turned that on.
If they lose, is it you go into a tournament for relegation or anything? Is there any concerns for that?
No. They're sitting second in England right now. This is the Champions League, so this is all the best teams from around Europe, and they're in the semifinals. So if they can go today, they'll go to the finals for only the second time in their history, and the last time was over 20 years ago.
All right, Josh, let's get to the real question here. You can only have one win today. Which one are you picking?
I'd take Arsenal.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
You have to realize he has been
horrible.
Ever since I met him in 2001, he has been an Arsenal fanatic. He was into it way before the Thunder. I mean,
have some pride for your city.
Let's be honest. I mean, we're talking to a Houston guy right now, so go figure.
Now and again, my rationale, and again, Oklahoma City has to win tonight. They just have to, but they don't have to. They're still alive. If Arsenal loses today, there are no more trophies to play for. They're playing out the end of their year, and it's just kind of a disappointing year, to be perfectly honest. The Thunder could lose tonight and rip off 4 in a row, and they still get to do everything they want to do.
I highly doubt that is what would happen. So.
I'm worried about
I agree.
safety of the office on Thursday if they don't win tonight. I'm worried about George.
We might
if
have
they don't
to
win
have
tonight.
around the clock monitoring.
We're gonna win.
for
We're gonna
George.
win. We're gonna win tonight. I'm wearing literally all Thunder gear today.
You are.
I've completely turned
fact.
around my mood. I was way too dramatic on Monday night, which, to be fair, was an all-time collapse, all-time
You
meltdown,
got no
all-time
support
choke
from
job.
the fiance.
But it's not even the
No
worst choke
support.
job of the week in the NBA.
That's true. That is fair. The Cavs outdid
Number
them
one
last
teams
night.
are just trying.
It's crazy
the
that
number one teams are just falling apart.
they're 0-5 right now. The home court is
Or top
0-5.
seeds.
I'm worried that if they do lose, not that you're going to do harm to yourself, which you threatened to do yesterday in the office, but I'm worried that Aaron's not going to get exactly what this level of George is. Like,
I think she's all in tonight, though, because she was telling me today that she's excited for the game. She's going to stay up and watch the whole game.
And he told her that if they lose, there's some things that are being taken off of the wedding list.
Yeah, we're taking stuff off the registry.
Well,
will you put a better record
speaking
player
of-
on there?
No.
Speaking of endangered people, my children are alone with me for the rest of this week. Tiffany is taking a trip with her mother and going to Disney. But let's not get into that. I don't even want to have that conversation.
Dude,
Well,
your daughters know that their mom is going to Disney without them.
They're
How
going
is
on
that
an
going
adult
over?
Disney
They-
trip?
Yes, that is where
I thought so
they have
highly
decided
of
to
Tiffany
go.
before this.
Dude, I get it. It's such a contentious topic. I'm like, we just can't talk about it anymore. Like, she loves Disney so much, and I hate it so much.
I don't hate it. I just don't understand. But I never grew up like wanting to go to Disney World. Never really. I mean, family obviously we never went. It just never really was a part of my culture, I guess. But I like the Disney movies.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, I like that fine. And again, like, I am someone, when I take vacations, I want to go somewhere, and then I don't know that I ever have to go there again. Like, I saw it, I did it. Now there's a million other places I'd like to go see. Like, the first time, okay, fine. We're going to go again next year. Like, it's already in the cards. Like, I know that's happening. And I'm like, great. Awesome.
But you're building up like credit, right? At Disney, don't they do that? Like, the more you go, the better, I guess, like, I don't know, promotions that you get. Isn't that a thing?
I mean, like, there's some stuff kind of like that, but you kind of have to be part of these things, and you're like, I don't want to do that. And I think for Tiffany, some of that stuff would take some of the planning out of it, because I think that's Tiffany's favorite part. Like, being there, she loves, but the planning and, like, because guys, you have to go through this whole series of things where, okay, we have this, like, we're going to have this restaurant at this time, and we're going to ride these rides, and we've got these reserved. Like, it's you're planning out your whole day like months in advance, and it's just it appeals to something about her. And she's not a planner by any stretch. It's the weirdest thing. It's just like this little itch that she scratches from time to time. But yeah, they're gonna go. I'm actually gonna take the kids to SeaWorld this weekend, so that is my little bribe to get them over there.
Of course,
Go eat with
What
Shamu.
kind of
Of course,
condition-
you support SeaWorld.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I swim with the shark, with the great whites.
The
Not great
sharks.
whites, killer whales.
Wait, I want to know.
Definitely
I never heard of swimming with the sharks
Free
being
Willy
available
was
anywhere.
Free Willy was a great movie.
Speaking of movies, Eddie, you said you love Disney movies. What's your favorite Disney movie? I didn't know you're not really a movie guy.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I would imagine, what was it, like Aladdin and all those movies? Weren't those Disney
Yeah, oh,
movies?
yeah.
Mermaid.
Yeah,
That would've been
Little
right
Mermaid
back your
didn't do
era,
much for me,
Eddie.
but what?
Because you'd have probably been like, what, 8, 9 when Aladdin came out, something like that.
Here's the thing that
I don't even know if I could name a Disney movie.
My God, this is another old man segment here. But Josh, this is the thing that
Lion
these
King.
two don't know
Lion King was good.
is like Disney, like when we were growing up, they would just rehash, like they would just re-release their movies over and over again.
That's what they're doing now. They're just doing them in live action.
But I mean, they weren't making new ones, really. I mean, they would do like
Disney-
Dumbo. Like you like when I was a kid, I remember, Dumbo came to the theaters. Well, probably 20 years before that, Dumbo was already in the theaters. Like in the Jungle Book, I remember going to see that in the theater as a kid, and I thought, oh wow. But they would like, it was at the start of like Star Wars and merchandise and all that stuff. So You would go to fast food places and you'd get like the Jungle Book glasses and all that stuff. But like it just became this marketing machine. But I never realized that till I got older. Like that wasn't the first time that they released that movie in theaters when I saw it.
Well, it just like now with all the digital graphics and that kind of stuff, like you can do it so much faster. Like to animate a movie then was 2 years of work, or
all with
now
hand.
They can do it in months.
All hand drawn stuff.
I think my sister watched Beauty and the Beast so many times that we had to go get a different VHS because it like basically just
wore itself out.
Yeah, it wore itself out. It was like what would the VHS do? Like start clicking or whatever, and it just roll over.
Yeah, I think wouldn't. And you weren't supposed to rewind it in the VCR. You were supposed to have like the special machine. You put it in there, and that's George, you didn't run down your gears or something.
Did you ever own a VHS?
Oh yeah, we had a VHS.
Okay, just making sure.
And then we got a DVD player though. Gosh, I was young, but I remember we had a VHS for a long time, and we'd watch movies on it when I was a kid.
You know, when I sold the old boomersooner. Well, you guys don't know about this, but the first business I had was boomersooner.net. And when I sold that, I sold it for like $30,000. The first thing I bought was a DVD recorder. And they were like $2,000 because I wanted to burn every OU football game on my VHS to DVD.
Did you do that?
Yes.
I don't hate that idea.
And I made that was the inkjet revolution. So I made little covers for each of the DVD cases with what game it was and what year it was.
I'm sure, I don't know where it's at right now, but there are boxes of VHSs at my parents' house of old OU games.
My dad has the
recorded from the VHS off the TV.
By the way, I have been contacted, I think I told you guys, is by Aaron Ivey. We mentioned having his old highlights. I felt bad because he's a PC North guy, and we talked about him without Eddie.
Aaron Ivey was a king, absolute king. That was a really, really good class that they had. But he was awesome. I still see Aaron every once in a while.
He wants the video to show his kids because they don't believe that he was that good.
We might have at my parents' house. There might be some Take Two. You remember the Take Two video that would come out, and they would put together like a highlight film of the season. North always had one, and we might have that
and
year.
one back in the day for football.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they would have people come out, and it was basically like my senior year was basically just Sam throwing bombs and Deji Kareem breaking off 80-yard touchdown runs.
And Josh,
that had to be a ton of fun to watch.
It was
Josh,
awesome.
I know that somewhere in my future Paul Walker tribute eclipse, sitting in my driveway with flat tires that the city is threatening to tow off, I know somewhere in that car, and I found the key to it the other day, somewhere in that car is the holy grail of I didn't mention this on the show, the holy grail of VHS highlight tapes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I've got to
Sam
think
McGuffey?
Well, that would
a
be
guy from Florida.
The Sam McGuffey highlight tapes were great, but
Bowers.
Brett Bowers.
Brett Bowers.
You would not believe this videotape. They had it professionally printed. Like it had a cover to it with like him making tackles, and I think it had like lightning bolts all over it and all kinds of shit.
So sick.
It was like blue, and it was like professionally. And then you opened up the case, and then it had professionally printed graphics like on the VHS itself. It was they must have spent thousands of dollars on that.
There was a window in there, and like Ben Hayburn and his dad, they were part of that. Like, because and I've told that story before, but like when Ben's dad handed me that binder of like all the press clippings and like ranking pages, and like I'd never seen anybody put that much work into it. Like they usually would hand you a tape, and like maybe there was like a cover sheet with like their the accolades, but nothing like that. Mr. Hayburn was, as always, above and beyond.
Well, it was right at the beginning of your career, but I remember the Welker family had the most detailed recruiting stuff. They would send out like a novel about all the accolades that Wes had throughout high school, and Maxim Fingers, number 1 rated, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we had Caleb Kelly on the Family Business yesterday. And the guys asked him, like, what does he think being a former 5-star about seeing how recruits are treated when they come on visits? And he was like, he didn't say, this is paraphrasing, but you could tell how disgusted he is that they have to take all these photo shoots of these kids. And they're like, You got to take like 500 photos. You got to hire like 3 different photographers. It's out of control.
It's crazy.
And the coaches tried to lobby to get that shut down because it's such a pain in the ass.
I thought they did.
I think it was only for official visits, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can only do it on officials now. They can't do
it
for unofficials and that kind of stuff, which is obviously still a huge improvement.
But yeah, times have changed.
It kind of comes full circle where Rival started and where we're at today.
And Huddle's really revolutionized everything in terms of, highlights and all that stuff. So.
It's just crazy to think that.
Thanks to Huddle.
It's crazy to think that, like, even, basically my graduating class, when you were talking about going down to Ardmore and getting the tape for Jermaine Gresham and thinking, like, how, I guess, far along everything has come just from a self-recruitment style than obviously where they're at today.
All right.
It is. I remember I had to have a P.O. box at one point so kids could send me their tapes. Like that was how elaborate it got there for a while because you didn't want, some kid that you were going to rank as a 2-star having your damn home address and this crazy-ass dad showing up. There are stories that are just wild.
Well, our man Eddie, back from Mexico, he's tan. Played some golf down there on some.
People think I burn. I tan. I tan greatly, though.
You're a tanner. You do.
Well, I don't tan.
From what I've seen, you're not like
I become tan if I'm outside.
Bed guy. Anyway, you were down there with our good buddy Will from Cody Drug RX. Was down there. I think I saw. I had some messages back and forth. I think he kept you in line. Can we say that, or did you keep yourself in line?
I don't think I've ever gone to a wedding where I was walking around the lobby the next morning and both sets of the bride and the groom's parents came up and appreciated my performance the night before, which kind of scared me, but it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun.
Well, Will's a great big supporter of OU's NIL efforts, but he also owns Cody Drug in Texas. And look, you can do all kinds of stuff, even if you're in Oklahoma. Go to CodyDrugRx.com. You can he'll be your pharmacist. He's your local pharmacist, even though he's in Texas. If you're looking for more energy, better focus, or just want to stay ahead of the game, check out NAD Plus injections from Cody Drug. It's the next big thing. A lot of Hollywood celebrities are doing that stuff to look and feel younger. They post about it all over social media. It's quick. It's easy. Just head to CodyDrugRx.com. Book a short telehealth visit, and your NAD Plus injection or nasal spray ships out the very next business day. Cody Drug custom compounds everything in their state-of-the-art sterile lab, including specialized medications for men's health, weight loss, anti-aging, and more. And guess what? If you're in healthcare, they love working with Oklahoma med spas and clinics, and they're ready to team up. So that's just go to CodyDrugRx.com, CodyDrugRx.com. Feel better faster without the stadium steps. Schmitty, you won't have to mess with Schmitty. And I'll go check him out on Instagram, Cody Drug RX. Will does a great job of putting together videos to, if there's any way that you want to feel better, he is great at being able to let you know exactly what you need to be taking, so you can feel like a better version of you. And I would assume, Eddie, that playing golf's got to be pretty cool having perfect vision, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, do you usually you ever lose a ball? I mean, I'm sure you do, but
yeah, I've lost a couple.
I would
balls
imagine
before.
You don't lose a whole. Well, when you're playing on a PGA course, though,
you can't see the ball a little bit easier, though, which is quite helpful, especially if you hit it into the rough. The one thing that when I was listening back to the unofficial 40 last week that kind of bugged me was George did the enjoy read,
right?
And that's like going and buying drugs from somebody and they don't use themselves. You want to know what you're getting, and I can tell you that our good friends over at LASIK, they're giving the best because I got the LASIK and I know exactly what they're going through. They're giving $1,000 off on LASIK at Enjoy Vision. All you have to do is schedule a free consultation today. EnjoyVision.com, the letter NJOY Vision.com. Save $1,000 on LASIK and start seeing the good around you. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIKs.
All right. It is kind of that time of the year. Josh, you're taking center stage here because it's all about recruiting. I know a lot of the comments coming out of the recruiting report in last week's pod, it is kind of, you're having some stuff right now about Jim Nagy and what he's looking for in players, and I've seen a lot of comments on the YouTube page about you got to value home state kids and not just worry about measurables and all that stuff. But this has been an interesting time because you've kind of hinted at OU kind of not falling out, but kind of and not even going in another direction, but just giving you an idea of kind of they're looking for a particular type of player.
Yeah, I think as you look at it and you kind of start taking stock, because, guys, they've sent out, I believe my last count was 21 new offers over about the last 10 days or so. So they've been pretty active, which, isn't crazy. It's a spring evaluation period. You've got coaches out on the road. You're seeing stuff. So it does make sense. But you can tell there are types they're looking at. Like at receiver, I was talking with somebody last night, and the name that came up was Elijah Thomas. They want guys with kind of, doesn't have to be 6'5", but they want a bigger body type. They want a guy who can run. They want a guy who can be physical. And, obviously, you take all the Elijah Thomases you can get your hands on, but I think it says a lot for where they kind of have, where they thought he was this spring, and secondarily, kind of what you're looking for, just those prime athletes and not guys where you say, well, he's a little deficient here, but it's okay because he's good at this. They want guys who check a lot of boxes. And I think that's what they're looking at. And it's a very NFL model. Like, we're going to get guys with traits. We want guys with size, speed, those kind of things. So, and then, you look at defensive end. All these guys are real big, real long. The Matthew Nelson kid that we talked about in recruiting report, he's 6'5", 210, has a wrestling background, ran I think the last I saw was he finished third. I don't think it was the Arkansas State meet, but it was some meet. He finished third in the 60-meter hurdles, like at 6'5", 210. You're like, holy crap. So it's very, and it's cliche, but it's cliche because it happens a lot. It's very traits oriented. They're looking for body types.
I guess what the big question would be is why is everything so quiet right now? It seems like, I think that we put up the recruiting report on Monday, and the general sentiment, to me, it seemed like people are getting a little anxious right now.
I think it's fair. And I will say, and I saw some of the comments, and I hope those people are listening to this as well. I keep hearing people say, well, Josh, you can't keep saying it's the negative recruiting and that kind of stuff. What about USC? What about Auburn? Guys, we've watched USC do the same thing 3 years in a row. They go out and they get all these early commitments, and they're from all over the country. And then by the time signing day comes around, OU has a better class. I don't know that'll happen this year. OU is fighting an uphill battle they haven't had to fight the last couple of years. So that may not be true this year. But don't fool yourself into thinking like what USC looks like right now is what they're going to look like on signing day. I just don't believe that to be true. They are doing a lot to entice kids into committing. Like, let's just say it, say it that way. There is incentive to do so, is how it has been explained to me. And again, a lot of these guys do, and then about June, July, when they start taking official visits and really getting down to time to make decisions for a lot of these elite players, all of a sudden they're not going to USC anymore. We'll see. But as far as Oklahoma, yeah, Eddie, I mean, I get it. Like, I get why the fans are antsy. It's been a while since there's been a commitment. Two of the four that are committed, I don't get the impression they're that solid. Obviously, Jaden O'Neal's taken a lot of visits. He's already got multiple officials lined up. And then you have Daniel Odom, who a lot of people feel committed to Oklahoma to play with Jaden O'Neal, his good buddy. And so now he's kind of on the market. So, I completely get it. But, guys, I mean, not to pat our own backs here, but we said this. We said this in December. This was going to be tough, and we've rarely had to see Oklahoma recruit against these kind of odds because we've never seen OU coming off a year like last year and going into a year where, hey, the head coach might lose his job. I mean, Carey, I don't even know if you were on the beat the last time a head coach was walking into a season like in real jeopardy of not being the head coach the following year.
Oh, I mean, I was running a message board back in the John Blake days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but not, officially credentialed media or anything like that. I mean, there are definitely the past, I think things have gotten better since, Porter had his portal class, and baseball and softball kind of, played well throughout the SEC. So, but I mean, definitely after that, Armed Forces Bowl, until that LSU loss that Porter had, like, it was as bad then as it was at the worst of the John Blake era, where it was, the fan base had given up and wanted changes. And even, I would say, as much so going back just as growing up, like the Gary Gibbs flying the plane over the stadium. I can't even remember what that message was on the plane back then, but
Gary's got to go or something like that. It was. I remember it was some kind of like a Barry type thing.
Yeah, Barry. They had the bumper stickers back in the day for Switzer when they were mad at him. But yeah, I mean, it's and it's. I think people can see that online with all the. It's still, you look at all the comments, and there's even on the message board. I was going through your board chat, Josh, just looking for stuff for around the corner, and there's still a segment of the fans that, like, they're done. They want it. Like, a lot of your questions were like, what are the chances, Brent? What has to happen for Brent Venables to get fired?
I get that question every week in my mailbag.
Yeah.
Every single week.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Xyzal keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Xyzal. At night.
So it's like you still have that segment that won't ever be satisfied unless Brent Venables gets into the college football playoff and looks like the future is secure with him at the helm.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Josh, how much would it change for recruiting in the momentum and everything if they just figured out the whole quarterback situation? I hate to keep bringing that up, but like if they were to figure that out, I mean, it feels like that could maybe spark something.
Well, it certainly would be a move in the right direction. I mean, like, you'd know who your quarterback is. You'd know who to put in front of these wide receivers that you're recruiting, And again, guys, and I know you guys know it, but I don't know if everyone, and it's cliche, but everyone needs to accept these guys all talk. Like, they are all connected to each other. The receivers know the quarterbacks. And I'm telling you, these guys see Jaden O'Neal, Oklahoma's quarterback commitment, taking visits elsewhere. And again, it's not Jaden's fault. Like, I think we all know how this is kind of playing, and we've talked a lot about that. So this isn't like, oh, he's not doing his part. It's just, why is this dragging on like it's dragging on? Like, I don't understand it. I don't know what OU's gaining from it. I don't know what Jaden's gaining from it. I just don't get it. But again, I digress into that just so naturally. I do think it would be huge because let's say you get Bo Bentley and you can close that deal. Then you've got one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He's committed. It breathes some life into things. You can have him hopefully come up, for June 6th, for June 20th, have him be around. Now, again, I think at this point that's not going to happen. He's going to take that LSU visit almost regardless of what happens with Jaden O'Neal. OU's kind of put themselves in this corner, and he's the one guy that I see. I'm like, he could get them some momentum. He could get something going for them, but I don't know how much time that's going to be allowed to have that happen. Like, if he takes LSU, because LSU's his last official. So if he waits until June 20th to do that, Oklahoma, say he commits even within a few days, they're not going to have anybody on campus he can come hang out with. It'll all be over.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's talk also about Jared Curtis. Some have him as the nation's top player, but he commits to Georgia over Oregon. And I assume Oregon kind of now has their guy. I know there's another 5-star that I think Wilt Fong and everybody else has made a prediction that he'll land at Oregon. So, I mean, Oregon's not going to open up for a Bo Bentley, but obviously, now that takes a spot away from Jaden O'Neal. Does he get anxious about, maybe more anxious than he has been, realizing, okay, well, one of these spots is gone. If I keep staying here, maybe Florida State's going to be gone soon or somebody else.
Yeah, and what I thought was really interesting and I think I talked about this maybe on Monday, I can't remember when our guy Chad Simmons went out to see Daniel Odom at practice. He was making the rounds in Southern California, and he sees him at practice, and the two schools that Daniel Odom mentions are Florida State and Washington. Again, Daniel Odom and Jaden O'Neal are close. It's clear they'd like to play together if they can make that work. I think Florida State is a very interesting possibility. I think it makes a lot of sense for everybody involved. And then I think with Florida State, like I said, having a need, with Odom talking them up, it just kind of seems like, okay, is it moving in that direction? But yeah, Carey, I mean, this isn't just like, well, why is OU doing this? I don't understand why Jaden's doing it either. Like, he's been pretty open. Like, I want a school that is going to want me and is going to pursue me, and I think it's pretty clear what the subtext is there. So why continue to go on with this? Like, I don't know what it's bringing to either party.
Kind of one of those you hang up first type situations. It's like, all right, somebody just cut the fucking phone. Let's get this over with.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Because then, I mean, guys, you want another example of like how people are like, Josh, are you sure it's as clear-cut as you think it is? Guys, I'll bet my bottom dollar Bo Bentley doesn't step foot on campus in Georgia again, because they're going to tell him, we've got Jared Curtis, we're good. Like, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. Hey, maybe in the future, who knows? They're not going to be dicks about it, because we all know the portal exists and stuff can happen. But I bet you money he doesn't take that trip. Because Georgia has a commitment. Bo Bentley has never at any point acted hesitant about visiting Oklahoma. I think it's all there, and I just don't know why there has to be this hesitancy in how they want to deal with it.
Yeah, I was thinking about, I did see the report that said that, and you don't know how true some of this stuff is, but like that Curtis wasn't going to get $1 million for signing, and who knows if that's Georgia's way of saying, well, maybe we can get another quarterback if we don't pay for this guy. But I think that'd be extremely hard to pull off in this day and age.
It's just a question of, why would a kid do that? Like, why would you go there, be second fiddle, and take less money than you could make a lot of other places? Like, again, like if Bo Bentley had grown up a Georgia fan, or if Georgia had some great track record of quarterback development, okay, fine. But guys, for all of the great Georgia recruiting, the stat that I saw, and I can't remember who put it out, I'd give him credit if I knew, he's the first number one quarterback Georgia signed since Matt Stafford.
Crazy.
2006. That's insane.
But I mean, what's crazy is, like, Georgia, as much as they've won, they don't really have, that number one draft pick guy quarterback.
Outside of Stafford.
No.
Yeah, outside of Stafford. I mean,
they won 2 national championships with a walk-on.
Yeah.
And guys, like, you can even look, like, you can say, okay, Carson Beck, he's a draftable guy. If he would have left last year, he'd have gotten drafted. If he'd have stayed at Georgia the next year, he'd have gotten drafted. Well, okay, fine. You can make that case. Stetson Bennett got drafted, whatever. But you look at the position that Georgia has truly, and I mean truly, had trouble developing, it's wide receiver. And as a quarterback, that's got to send up alarm bells. And I think it's part of why they have at times struggled to land elite quarterbacks, because they're not landing elite wide receivers. Guys, not that long ago, OU went into Georgia and took Jaden Hazelwood away from them.
Sure.
Well, let's lead into what's going on with Oklahoma. Also, George, you reported on the Mercer quarterback signing with Oklahoma, and that's been another one of those kind of misunderstood things, I think, just by the general college football fan. Just fights out the ass. I mean, my Twitter timeline the day after the Thunder game was just full of
There's a lot of trolling
fighting
within that as well.
And the Arch Manning stuff gets into it again. But Tell us about the quarterback that they got, the expectations for him, and kind of this doesn't change anything about them having their guy in John Mateer
or their backup in Michael Hawkins. This is just purely a replacement for Cole Gonzalez, who left in the portal and could end up starting at Pitt, from what I understand. So, yeah, Whitt Newbauer, started at Mercer last year. I think a little over 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Big kid, 6'6", 225. I mean, he's a big dude, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of him next year. It would be bad if that happened. If he's playing a ton next year, that's probably not a good thing for Oklahoma. But yeah, this is simply they wanted to add another arm, somebody that's at least played some football.
And he's got years left in college too, right?
Yeah, I think he was just a sophomore last year, so I think he's got 3 years left actually. Yeah, I mean, this is not that big of a deal, but he's just replacing Cole Gonzalez, essentially. Like, this has no effect. Like, I saw some people saying, oh, what does this mean for what they're doing in recruiting? Nothing. It means absolutely zero.
Yeah, he's not going to affect Bo Bentley or their chase of him or whatever happens.
Or Michael Hawkins. Like, if John Mateer were to get hurt next year and they needed to play somebody, I believe that will be Michael Hawkins.
Like, I would imagine if things I'm sure if you asked Newbauer's family if he's going to be here and play, they would say yes. But at the same time, I think realistically,
even they would say no.
He transfers out in the spring and goes and tries to do what Cole Gonzalez is doing right now and battle for a job somewhere.
I think Whitt Newbauer views this as a lot of people would. He's coming here to try and get better, learn a lot from Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, OU, Brent Venables, all that stuff, and then likely leave after next season to be a starter somewhere else.
He might be the first person that's ever come to Norman, Oklahoma for a study abroad.
Well, guys, and how much do you think, and I wonder about guys like this, I doubt Whitt Newbauer has a lot of, ideas of, I'm going to play in the NFL. I'm going to guess at, coming from where he's coming from, he's probably got some realistic outlook on it. So being around young coaches and young minds like Ben Arbuckle and some of these other guys, I've got to think that's enticing. Like, maybe someday this could be my future. Maybe I'm looking and I've kind of built my coaching tree a little bit here.
Yeah, and he's played, who did he play against last year? Was
Alabama.
Yeah, and he threw a
touchdown pass against Alabama.
It's almost Mother's Day, and you can now get anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. So no, you can't order a relaxing shower, but some beautiful flowers, you bet we deliver those. A bird bath? No. A bath bomb? Absolutely. It's no to a chocolate lab, but yes to some chocolate truffles. So whether it's a last-minute gift for Mother's Day, fresh groceries, or food from your favorite restaurants, get it delivered today with Uber Eats. Order now. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
So he's shown some stuff. I mean, look, they're not just bringing in somebody that doesn't have ability. I mean, Cole Gonzalez, I really liked some of the things I saw out of him.
He legitimately has a chance to start at Pitt.
And he threw for a lot of yardage at Western Carolina.
Who's the quarterback at Pitt last year?
Oh, the kid that transferred over there with Cade Bell.
Is he still there?
Yeah, talking about the Westford.
God, I forgot his kid's name.
I think he's going to be the starter, but I don't know what his injury situation is. But if he's hurt, because I think he had some
Eli Holstein.
Yes,
from A&M.
He had some injury
yeah.
issues last year, right?
Yeah. They were kind of doing a dual quarterback deal for a while.
Yeah, I think if he's hurt, then Cole Gonzalez is probably going to be the starter there. So, and he's having a really good year.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say real quickly. I know you guys know, but I don't know that everybody else has connected that dot. That obviously Gonzalez, a big part of him going there was to work with Cade Bell, who he was with at Western Carolina.
Yes.
All right, we're going to do a portal wrap-up show just to get everything out there. But the quarterback was one that you said keep an eye on for a while, that they wanted to bring another guy in. But they've got your Michael Carter. They've got a kicker. I mean, are we done here?
I think so. I mean, I think they'd like to add a tight end. I just don't think there's any worth adding in the portal.
But Devon Mitchell is the number one tight end in the portal.
Which he's now at Louisville. So congrats to him.
Hopefully he turns it around.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. But they would like to add a tight end. I just don't think there's one out there that they're interested in right now. So, and obviously the portal window's closed. You don't see anybody still entering. It's kind of past that. So I think this could be it for them. And I think it's a good class. I mean, you saw Pete Nakos put up the story today. Oklahoma was mentioned as one of the winners
3
of the spring portal.
Or was that alphabetical, or was that?
I think it was just alphabetical.
Okay.
I don't know if it was in it. Well, I'd say that. I don't know if there was any.
It was not alphabetical,
rivalrism.
but I think it's just. I think it just.
These
was
are my
listed.
teams that I liked.
Yeah.
In the portal. All right.
The only spot I wonder about is corner. I've heard that's still been investigated a little bit. Now I don't know what they can do in the portal at this point, but I had heard that they even kind of had a look at Jocelyn Malaska again and kind of checked if that situation could work out. But I think he's going to end up at Abilene Christian, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think they'd like to add a corner. I just don't know who that is, and that's the problem. With doing a lot of this in the spring is there's just not as many guys to pick and choose from.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it was like you said, it was a very successful portal session, and I think Jim Nagy, deserves a lot of credit for going out there early and being ready to sign a Jaden Ott and a Jake Michaela, and then they just added to it. I mean, it wasn't. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be boom, boom, big name, big name, big name. It didn't quite happen that way, but. Josh, I didn't feel like the portal was, all that populated this year. I mean, it just seemed like it was kind of slim pickings.
It was exactly what you kind of think it is, though. Like, there's just a bunch of guys that this is their, and I think that there's something to it, Josh, but there was a bunch of guys, and it seemed like every day that you would see names enter, they were guys that this is the third time they've been in the portal. They've been to, 2 different schools over the last 2 years. And God love them. They're just I don't know if they have their hands out more so than it's just looking for new places to get on the field.
I don't like those 3-time transfer guys. I just feel like they would have.
Are there
stuck
any
somewhere.
successful third entry into the portal guys that
I guess sometimes there's 4-time transfers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Deontez Lewis, OU's hoping he's one of them.
Well, there's some. There are some, and some go on to win the Blitnikoff. But for others that aren't at OU, it just isn't very common that you find somebody that is in the portal for a second or third time and they're going to be able to come in, because I think the obvious reason that if they were really good, they'd still be at the school that they were at.
That's exactly it, Eddie. To me, I think that's something, and guys, we talked about it from a very OU point of view, with OU doing a really good job of retaining their talent and making sure. I think other schools are also realizing that's where it all starts. Like I think those first few years, it was so fun to go out on a shopping spree and be like, oh, we're going to get this guy and this guy and this guy. And then they didn't realize all their roster walking out the back door. I think schools have stopped doing that as much and realizing, if we can keep ours together, add a couple of pieces here and there, then we're going to be in better shape. And so to me, again, it all goes back to you build through high school, you supplement through the portal. It's just, guys, and people are like, the NFL model, I hate that expression. It's the same deal. You build through the draft and you add pieces you need in free agency.
I think Texas Tech's going to be really interesting to see what they do this year.
Fascinating. I think that there's also a lot of schools that are bigger players now in NIL. There's a lot of other places that woke up and are doing a much better job from a retention standpoint with their collectives or whoever, that maybe there was a guy that was at just throwing out a name, at an SMU or somewhere that might have transferred out. And now that guy's probably staying at SMU because he's getting paid a shit ton of money, or he's going to a Texas Tech, or he's staying at a Texas Tech.
And every program's different. I mean, Oklahoma State, they've just totally turned over their entire roster. And I have no idea. They've gotten a lot of guys in the portal. I don't know if any of them are any good, but they're totally changing their roster, which they probably needed to do.
I think Oklahoma State fans are just happy that they're actually going out and doing it.
Yeah.
Literally just participating.
And they're getting guys from other Power 4 leagues and not Fox State or whatever that was. Some of those guys they were getting them from. I mean, Division 3 and 2.
And I think OSU will be better next year. I mean, the bar's low, obviously.
It's kind of like OU offensively. The bar's so low that you have to be.
I just don't know who's going to be the quarterback.
Much like OU, if they're not better, then everybody has to go. Like, it's a liquidation, because if you're not better than that abomination that OSU was and OU's offense was, then something's terribly wrong.
Who was it? One of their young quarterbacks came back out of the portal today.
No, actually, that was just a terrible edit. Garrett Rangel announced that he was going to Virginia Tech, but it was just him in an OSU jersey, pretty much.
Well, it was the all orange that Vatek wears.
It was it? I thought it had like a little bit of Virginia Tech like jersey underneath, but it like you could barely tell.
Oh, was it
a
an
full
OSU
jersey? Pretty much.
I didn't realize that.
And an OSU helmet.
I got to stop multitasking in the middle of my radio show in the morning, I guess, because I saw that and it was like glanced. I was like, "Oh, Garrett Rangel's going back to OSU."
Yeah, no, it wasn't you multitasking, Carey. It was a horrific edit that he put out, and the way he phrased it.
Like you can, I've got it pulled up. Like there's nothing you can see that is VT, like other than like a underneath like a ripped part of jersey. You'd really have to be looking. The helmet's Oklahoma State, the jersey's Oklahoma State. Like it's really hard to know that's what he's telling you.
Good luck in Blacksburg.
I'm trying to find it. I got to make George tried to make me feel better, but
his name was Garrett Rangel.
I want to see the edit, jackass. That's what I'm going after.
That's he tweeted it. You could just search him on Twitter.
I know. Thanks. I'm not that old. Look, if we're going to talk about old people on this show right now, I'm looking at someone in Houston that deserves that moniker right now.
What did I do?
I think that's the problem.
Here it is.
I got it right here. I'm looking at it, okay, youngster?
Well, it took you a long time to find it.
Sometimes we just never know.
Josh would have forgot to put the picture in his transfer tweet.
I mean, I'm the one that linked to you, so, you're welcome.
Anyway, okay, so Eddie's back from Mexico. We're starting to look ahead a little bit. You've got, softball tournament coming up. Is it starting tomorrow?
It started on Tuesday.
It started on Tuesday. Jesus Christ.
OU plays LSU 10 a.m. Thursday morning.
So,
which is crazy. LSU's the 9 seed in the SEC tournament. They're the 4th ranked RPI team. So it'll be good for Oklahoma. I know Bob wrote about it on the site on Sooner Scoop that, if Oklahoma really wants to make a case for themselves to get a number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, it's not a bad thing to be running into LSU this week, and then obviously you would get into the rest of bracket play.
Well, yeah, and OU baseball still has 2 more series left, no midseason games, but then you have the SEC tournament, and that's in Birmingham, right, every year?
Hoover, Alabama.
Oh, Hoover.
Yep, the Met.
Kind of the same, right next to each other there.
Never been.
It looks like a cool. That was where they had the big celebration last year or whatever. The
celebration.
The historical stuff. I hate saying the word.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Canceled. The
civil
museum
rights
that they have
civil rights stuff.
Kansas City. The
Negro League.
Yes.
Yeah. I did. Oh, at the baseball game.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was in Birmingham at the baseball. What's the baseball field? We drove right by it. It looks really cool. It's old school. It's right off the highway there.
But yeah, I mean, Eddie might go depending on how things work out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot to play for, obviously. OU's kind of right in the middle of the thick of things in the standings wise, and I think that if you're 13-11 right now, obviously they're going to get into the NCAA tournament, barring some type of unforeseen, just complete disaster over the losing out or something, and even then they might still get in. But they're in the thick of it, and I think the big thing right now is if you can get to 17 wins, if they can win to the their next 2 series, go to Kentucky, take 2 of 3, maybe sweep if you could get that done, that'd be exceptional. And then Texas and Norman next week, maybe you could work your way back into hosting responsibilities for the NCAA tournament, which would be not the biggest thing in the world, but I do think it'd be just a great step in the right direction to get a regional in Norman for the 2nd consecutive year. They haven't done it in 15 years.
Overall, though, when you say, Eddie, that I mean, again, you got to see how these last 2 weekends play out. But their first year in the SEC, I feel like they've performed exceptionally well.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, hot fudge sundae y en la nueva creamy chili McCrispy Strip dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Para pa pa pa.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. I mean, when you look at the SEC right now, and whether it be Arkansas or Texas or Georgia or Auburn, LSU, Vanderbilt even, I mean, you're talking about maybe 4 top 8 national seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it each week, but like the top 25 you go through and OU is right in the middle of the pack. I mean, they're, I think as high as 13 right now in one poll, 16 and 17 in the others, and they're like 8th in the SEC in terms of rankings. So it's going to be really interesting. And then you have like a team like Florida. They've won, I think, 12 of 15, 11 of their last 12 conference games, and they're coming. I mean, they're 11 and 13 right now, 33 and 16 overall, and they have a big series this weekend in Austin. So Texas finally got hit in the face kind of in Fayetteville. They get swept over the weekend. It was Arkansas's first series sweep of Texas in program history, which I don't know. Crazy. I guess I was kind of just shocked by that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Arkansas, Texas, and I guess you would throw in Georgia right now as well as they're playing. I mean, those are 3 of the best teams in the country. And then, like, even a team like Tennessee right now, who is really struggling, they're still a host, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 conference series. They're still a host. It's crazy.
Arkansas got kind of caught up in the Cliff Gustafson era in the old Southwest Conference days. They just probably never were near. I mean, really until Van Horn got there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really know what their
really
history's
remember a lot
like.
of Arkansas stuff.
But
yeah,
I think now they've been so good over the last couple of years that just kind of reading the tea leaves from some of the Arkansas reporters that I follow, like this is one of those years that they've been so good and had so much disappointment come the NCAA tournament in Omaha that I think like the last box for them is they got to go win it.
Well, and Eddie, I think you and I have talked a lot and watched a lot of baseball this year, kind of in the office and stuff. But it's been a roller coaster. I mean, you knew that they were going to have Kyson Witherspoon. You didn't know what was going to happen behind that. You wanted to see what would Malachi do. Then Crossland comes along and becomes one of their surefire weekend starters. And the bats have just been kind of up and down all year, but Easton Carmichael's been amazing. Obviously losing Taki was a tough blow, and they're still kind of trying to recover from that. From a fielding, a defensive team, I mean, that's been the biggest issue with this team over the last couple of weeks is just the errors.
Yeah, it's been really bad. And if they don't clean it up, it's going to cost them the season at some point. It'll always come back to bite you. So they got to be able to figure out a way to just play pitch and catch.
Jason Walk's playing well now. I mean,
yeah. And
but you got a young guy in Branch at second base, and you're trying to put Christensen at first, and
we'll see what his status is going into this weekend. We'll see what his status is. He didn't play in the last 2 games of the Ole Miss series, nursing a little bit of a shoulder injury, but I think it was purely a precaution thing. So I don't think that you'll see him on the availability report when it comes out this evening.
Would they ever put Carmichael at first?
Yeah, they could.
And if Mudler was playing catcher?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most logical thing to do, but they really haven't. They've kind of stayed away from that. So I don't know, because I think like when you don't want to have Carmichael in the field, it's been more of, all right, he's just going to DH and kind of get the day off from fielding activities. But because that would be the point of giving him the day off behind the plate. But with Mudler coming back, I think it does open the door that you could put Carmichael over at first. Maybe that's something that they think about doing here over the last 2 weekends and then obviously into the postseason, because you obviously want his bat in the lineup. If Mudler can continue to progress offensively, I think they're in a pretty good spot. But I think the bottom line with this team is regardless of what happens over the next 2 weeks, they're going to have a great opportunity when they get to a regional, whether that be in Norman or wherever they go. D1 Baseball had them in Corvallis this weekend as a 2 seed. I think it was Baseball America or somebody had them in Morgantown taking on West Virginia. So they're going to have a chance. And anytime that you can roll out Kyson Witherspoon, you're going to have a really good opportunity. And I really like what they've had with Kate Crossland and Malachi Witherspoon over the last couple of weeks, even if they're not winning those games that they're pitching in.
Yeah, Malachi's pitched.
He's been
I
great.
think the best that he's
not great.
Been on,
he's been good. He's shown progression.
Well, he's given you solid 4 and 5 innings, and then he's been let down by some errors in the field.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you look at his line, and it's like he pitched, 4 2/3 or a 5 1/3, and he gave up 5 runs. And it's like, well, yeah, he gave up 5 runs, but 2 of those, or 3 of them, are unearned because of errors. So we'll see. Just got to get hot at the right time. This is such a cliche line, but it is true.
All right.
Should we talk about Patty being fired or should be fired?
Are people saying that?
I am.
Why?
SEC
They won the
championship
SEC.
not good enough.
Oh,
Losing 2 out of 3 to Florida.
Yeah, they win the regular season. They just give up. They just cannot.
They don't have another pitcher.
They don't.
They've
Well,
one
and
pitcher.
it's on the road. Like, I mean, they can't find it. Their backup pitchers are so different on the road than they have been at home. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, the good news is this is the last road trip of the season, going to the SEC tournament.
They are going to host Supers, right?
Yeah, I think that they're going to be a top 8.
I mean, they might be the number 1 overall seed if it goes well in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, or there could end up being a 5 seed or a 6 seed. Or if you get beat tomorrow and things break poorly, maybe you do fall out of it, which would be a little bit insane in my opinion. I don't really follow the RPI in softball that closely, but
I do think this team can win it all, but this is as wide open as I can remember. Softball, because it's not even there's even years past where it's like, okay, OU's the favorite, but there's a couple other teams that could knock them off maybe. This year it feels like there's 10 to 12 teams, maybe even more, that could go on a run and win it, especially in the SEC. I mean,
maybe
the
get
SEC
to
is just
Omaha,
ridiculous.
but I think once you, get to Oklahoma City, but once you get to Oklahoma City, I bet that battens down to there's 4 or 5 teams that can.
But still, when's the last
have a
time?
chance.
When's the last time? I feel like that hasn't been the case the last few years.
But it's been because of the obvious. OU's been a generational program. I mean, maybe the best class of softball players to ever play the sport.
And look, Florida took 2 out of 3, but they made it very difficult. And they got down pretty big in the last couple of games, but they fought I was impressed by the way they fought their way back offensively.
I think they are hitting the ball well.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Ella Parker is on one right now.
Ella Parker is. Ryan Chapman brought it up this morning on radio that I didn't realize Nelly McEnroe Morenas had 11 home runs in SEC play. She had no home runs in the non-conference, and she had the most home runs in the league this year.
Yeah, so they're hitting the ball well.
She's a redshirt freshman, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to be really good for the next few years, but they're hitting the ball extremely well. It's just, how far can Sam Landry, are they going to do the whole one pitcher thing and she's just carrying them? But they're going to need a second or third pitcher to step up and be great if they want to win the whole thing.
And they're going to need to, looking on to the future, they're going to be really good at all the fielding positions, and the lineup's going to be great. But it does seem like they're going to need to go get a pitcher. And with the news of, yesterday from Patty's press conference talking about Sophia Bordy, the number 1 pitcher in the country. I don't know.
What's the deal there?
I don't know.
So she just no longer, she's going to play somewhere else next year, or is she just
No, I think it's been termed, she went back to New Jersey and it's just a personal matter. And I don't know if that's something to do with her or her family. And frankly, it seems like they've been pretty guarded about it to make me think that it might be something serious within her family. That's pure speculation, and I hate to even throw that out there.
Yeah.
But she left Norman, it seems like, in good accordance with the program.
That was my question.
With Patty and all that. It's more of a personal issue.
So she could be back next year. She could.
That's my impression.
Okay.
Bob might know better than I. I asked him this morning, and he said, basically what I just said.
It's, it has been interesting. It's sometimes very tough mentally on some of these young players.
She was somebody that
to be a part of this program.
And she reclassified.
Yeah.
So she should be in high school. I think somebody said that she reclassified 3 semesters early.
Wow.
So, and it's kind of crazy.
Carey, to your point, too, and it's not even about, Bordy, but just this team as they, start their postseason run here. It's like the expectations put on these girls is just so unfair in a way. Like in terms
look
of,
at Jordy
they're
Ball.
47-7, and people are acting like the sky's burning.
And
know.
Jordy Ball wins a national championship, and she's not happy because there's just so much stuff that goes on with being an OU football or a softball.
Well, I
player.
don't think that's why she left. I don't.
Well,
think,
I mean, she had a boyfriend, and she was.
I think she just wanted to go back home, but
She was
I don't think she left
homesick
because
and
of
all
the
that.
pressure at OU. I'm just saying that, like, if this team doesn't win the national title this year, there will be people that will say it's a massive failure, and that's just like people haven't been living. It's not been reality. The last 4 years were not real.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen.
It's very similar to what we went through when the football team was so good offensively, and we kept coming in here and saying, like, this is not normal. Like, you should appreciate what you have. And I have these same conversations with my mom that, like, you would have thought the world was on fire when they got beat by Florida over the weekend. It's like they won the SEC championship.
Yeah.
With a bunch of freshmen, basically.
It just doesn't look the same because it's not the same.
And
I mean,
Patty
They're
Gasso,
playing close game. They're having to play 7 innings.
Patty Gasso should win. Have they announced SEC Coach of the Year?
I don't think so.
She should win it. I mean, to do what they did this year in the conference with that much turnover, and I know, like, I bet she ends up not winning it because nationally, because they're like, well, it's just OU, they're supposed to win. But, like, when you look at the actual turnover of what they've had on that roster, it's pretty remarkable what they did.
Yeah, it's incredible.
All right, Josh. I know I know you had woke, and I kind of got us off track there with some of the recruiting stuff. But was there anything that you wanted to hit on in terms of just stuff that's going on with new offers or guys that you might have caught up with recently that kind of give you some hope that maybe OU's making some inroads to maybe starting to, I don't even want to say work on a new commitment because it seems like that's not going to happen. If we get people's hopes up, we're just going to piss them off, basically.
Well, as a brief note, I should say we're all going to get the enjoyment of watching Marcus Fakatau, the big-time kid from California that just dominated camp last summer. He'll be back again this summer, so we get to watch him work a little bit, and I'm going to guess he's just even scarier. But
he was the kid that was like really young and that we didn't even notice him at first, and then we saw him, we started asking around. I was like, yeah, this kid's like a sophomore or freshman or whatever.
He was going into his freshman year last year.
Jesus.
He was 6'7", 240.
We noticed him. We were just like, what the
from-
hell is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, you were like, if and you're thinking like he's got to be a junior, and he's like, yeah, I'm a freshman. Holy shit. Anyway, but what the thing I would touch on is probably linebacker recruiting. I think you're starting to see Nate Dryling's role, like who he's looking at, who he's identifying, and obviously with Brent Venables involved, with the front office staff involved. I mean, there's really a collaborative effort going on. One of the interesting things is the possibility of Mason Martin visiting here in the next week or so. Recent offer that Oklahoma made in St. Louis. Big physical guy, runs really well. There's I hate to say it, there's some Stutzman in there, like kind of plays wild, real big guy, real tall, lanky guy, kind of upright, but just plays 100 miles an hour. He's a Brent Venables guy all day, every day. And from what you guys have informed me of Nate Dryling, sounds like that's his kind of guy as well. So what's interesting, though, and I talked about this in Scoop a little bit on Friday, so the buzz on him has kind of been Wisconsin. There's been a lot of talk of Wisconsin there, and I know they're pushing really hard for him. Oklahoma, a few days after offering Martin, went to Wisconsin and made an offer to a kid named Ben Wenzel. And Wisconsin, as of yet, has not offered Ben Wenzel. And I know he's actually set up an official visit to go to Wisconsin. But I wonder a little bit if OU's kind of playing chess here and trying to force Wisconsin's hand. Like, if they think Martin might be leaning to Wisconsin, okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to sneak in the back door and take this guy that we like from your backyard.
That you're trying to slow play.
Exactly. Or you're going to have to offer that kid, and it's going to open the door for us a little bit with Mason Martin. So I like the maneuver. Like, and I'm not going to say like I know that's what's happening. It's just a very, very interesting coincidence because it's not like Oklahoma goes to Wisconsin and recruits all that frequently.
All right, very good.
Have they ever gotten a commitment from Wisconsin?
Yes. Who was it? I want to say they got a commitment and the kid didn't sign. Like
Okay.
there's a bell ringing somewhere.
I cannot remember somebody ever actually playing for Oklahoma that was from Wisconsin.
I am efforting to see that answer. If there's ever been one, because none immediately comes to mind for me, Eddie.
At least not in like the modern era. There might have been somebody in like the 50s.
The other day. Yeah, there's 5. There are 5 listed players from Wisconsin.
Are anybody notable?
No, I don't have the. I want to give him a shout out. I use Sooner Stats for that, and he doesn't list the names. He just tells you how many players have played from that state.
But that is the history of Oklahoma football.
Yes. That these guys could all have played in the 1940s. Like I don't know the answer to. Did you guys know there's been 2 guys from Hawaii?
Well, Dylan.
Oh yeah, okay, Dylan.
Oh, and the other one was wasn't it? Was Jonah Lulu?
Oh, Jonah.
So I guess they've been in the last 5 years.
So
Jonah wasn't from Utah?
Believe it. Jesus.
He was originally from Hawaii, and then I think he moved to Utah. I think. I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking it up. He was born in Las Vegas.
Oh, maybe not then.
And
was
where he played.
Who was the defensive end from Utah? Was he born in Hawaii?
CJIU.
CJIU.
I thought he was from Utah.
He was from Utah because he went to Snow Junior College.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played high school in Utah. He born in California, but he played ball in Utah.
Wyatt Gilmore, he's from Minnesota. That's close enough to Wisconsin.
I thought of that same thing.
It's fair.
Might as well count that.
I mean, that's like, again, it's probably a lot like people that think about Oklahoma and Texas from Minnesota and Wisconsin. They're like, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Like that, I can't differentiate them.
George, have you found
they say A a lot?
Have you found that your algorithm is all about go-kart crashes yet?
No, you're the only one sending me those.
I'm telling you, once you start down the go-kart crash rabbit hole, you stay there.
For those that don't understand at home, which is probably all of you, I am planning my bachelor party, and there's a professional go-kart track in Austin, which is where I'm going, and we're looking into maybe doing that. And Carey just continues to send me go-kart crashes, like horrific crashes, people getting hurt and stuff.
Well, we don't know if they were hurt or died.
I mean, they're definitely, some of them are like pretty brutal.
But I mean, a bachelor party professional go-kart track is maybe one of the worst ideas I've ever heard.
Well, I don't think they're going to get shit-faced and go do it. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, no.
No, but when you have to sit in a room and like get a lecture on how to do this, like in half a day,
I don't think it's that serious. I think it's just it's like called Coda Racing. I don't even know if we're gonna do it. We just looked into it. It was something that somebody that I know in Austin was like, "Oh, I went and did this. It's really fun." Maybe
this is on Circuit of the Americas?
Yes.
Holy shit.
No, it's not on the actual track, I don't think. I think they have like a separate go-kart track.
Okay.
But you're going, I looked it up. I mean, you're going like 35 to 45 miles per hour in these things. So you're going pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah, it would take you a day to get around the Circuit of Americas in a 35 miles an hour.
But it's out by that track.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's cool. I would do it, but I would know who my friends are before I did it. And I would make sure that you didn't have anybody that was just out.
Well, I know all my
carnage.
friends that are going on the trip. I do know all of them. And there's one moron, but I think we can handle one idiot. So the rest of them I think would be fine, but there is one idiot.
It's just shrooms. It's not that bad.
I had a buddy almost lose an ear in a not a go-kart, but one of those like ATV, like not even a four-wheel, like the Can-Am type deals, like
not the Polaris type stuff.
So, yeah, exactly right. And that was a wild day. Tiffany had to take him to the hospital. It was a whole thing.
By the way, it looks like you wear helmets with this, so I'm feeling better about it.
Of course.
Nobody.
The problem with here's the thing with the bachelor party is if you're not like a golfer, which I'm not, and I don't think any of my buddies are really golfers either. There's not a whole lot of like, other than golfing, like what is it that you're going to go do on this trip? And I mean, obviously drink. And that's kind of like, I'm like, let's just go have some drinks, hang out, eat good food. You know, I don't really care about planning, you know, an event, you know, to go do something, an activity to go do.
So like your best men or man's not planning this for you?
My brother is. Okay. I mean, he's helping plan it. Him and the one idiot, they're doing it together. They're planning it, and that was like that.
So you're definitely going to a strip club, even if Aaron doesn't.
No, we're not going to a strip club. We're not going to the strip club.
So if you have an idiot planning it, you usually end up at a strip club. Even though you don't want to.
Is he not that kind of idiot? He's
just like he wants to get into some shit. You know, he wants to go and do some crazy stuff. I mean, a lot of dumb ideas that he's pitched.
You seem on edge today. Buddy. The Thunder done this to you?
Yeah, the Thunder have done this to me. This is a big day. I mean, this is, if they lose tonight, I mean, my summer's ruined. And I'm getting married this summer. So the Thunder could ruin my marriage.
Does it shock? I mean, I'm assuming you guys know. I did not know George was not a golf guy. George went to a private school in Tulsa. He's well educated. Let's be honest. He's white. Like, you have all the hallmarks of a golfer, George, and you don't play golf. That's a very surprising turn of events.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my dad didn't golf either, and so that's probably why is not in the family. And I've thought about getting into it, but at this point, I'm like, do I really want to try and do the whole take lessons? And it's an expensive thing to now get into that I honestly just don't have time to go do it. But,
yeah, like Eddie, like that's his free time. He wants to golf. Yeah. I would imagine, Eddie, you plan most of your free time around when can I get on the course?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I wish I would have maybe grown up playing it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I enjoy watching it. And when I was in high school, I used to go with my buddies to the course and just hang out with them while they were playing, but just never something that I got into.
I do think it has to be one of those things that like your dad had to take you golfing when you were a kid to really stay into or get into it in the first place.
Yeah, it was my grandfather for me, but same idea, absolutely.
Yeah, my grandfather didn't play
grandfather, Earl Woods, campers parked right off the side of the fairway.
Can we talk about the content of Eddie being the guy to give George lessons? Like just how that would go?
Yeah, it would not happen.
I have no interest in that.
I don't either. I don't have any interest in that.
All right. Okay.
I got a power drill too this week.
Congratulations, George did get a power drill. He it sounds like he got a good one and a good deal.
DeWalt. I'm sure someone on the board will give me shit.
That's what you were going to send him, Carey.
Well, he tries to take away all of my potential wedding gifts. It's like I don't think he wants a wedding gift.
Josh, I tried
to buy him a watch.
I
he said no. Aaron's going to buy it.
Listen to this bullshit. I have one of the things that I had on there because I have a decent sized record collection, about 50 records.
Bullshit.
So I put on there a pretty nice record player. Okay. And of course, Carey immediately criticizes, that's not a nice record player. Let me buy you this one that's twice as expensive. And I'm like, I'm not going.
Like, how is that being an asshole? Or how is it bullshit?
You love to criticize every little thing. Just like
the
watch situation.
I'm doing this out of love.
This is why you got to follow this lesson very closely. You tell Carey nothing. You tell Carey nothing.
Eddie never asked me for anything, and he has a nicer watch than you're probably ever going to have.
That's fine.
George,
that's totally fine by me.
Now, the record player you liked, was there a reason to prefer it to the one Carey suggested?
Because it was $200 less. I don't want to ask people for a $500 record player.
Of course, you don't have to. Carey will just buy it for you. You don't have to do it.
It makes me happy to do things like that for people.
Yeah.
I know, but
why couldn't don't listen to music?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be my advice.
How about just buy the one that's listed on the registry?
Because you can do so much better.
Oh, my gosh. If you want to buy it, buy it. I don't care. But
I'm not getting you anything at this point. I've tried 2 different things now, and I've been rebuffed.
And neither
Twice.
one, two different things that were not even on the registry.
Well, 3 now. I forgot about the drill.
Again, not on the registry. Pick something on the registry. Knife set. We still need the knife set.
I'll get you that $200.
Josh picked something off the registry.
I'll get you that
And it was awesome.
$250 toaster.
I already got it. Pick again.
Jesus. You've made it harder than anyone I've ever met to just buy.
How is this hard? How is this hard?
Gift.
You go on the website and you pick one that's on the website. It's literally the easiest thing in the world. You're the one making it difficult.
I put in the show minutes. If you're still listening, you are a real unofficial 40 fan.
Josh knows this. Josh, of all the stuff on your wedding registry, how much of that did you have after a year even?
Oh, we still have quite a bit of it. Now every time there's a wedding to someone close to us, we get into the same argument. Why was any of this shit on there? Like the China set that everybody has to do, and it's a whole friggin' thing. But it's stupid. You don't ever use it.
Yeah.
Like,
We didn't put that on
we've
ours.
used it once the entire time we've been married.
We didn't put a China set on ours. We just asked for regular plates.
Good for you. Well done, Aaron. Good for her. There's all kinds of shit like that. But we have a rice cooker that we got for our wedding that literally we still use to this day. And it was probably a $50 rice cooker. Like, it's not special or nice or anything like that.
Yeah, I got like a little Cuisinart, probably $35, $40 rice cooker. I use it all the time.
Yep.
What do
you have a rice cooker?
What do you use it for?
For rice.
Oh, okay.
I think
You just put water, rice in there, and it does it. Eddie.
You can
don't have
like
to worry
boil
about-
tamales.
I just know with
if
your
you want to
militia
in there.
connections, I didn't know if you were building a homemade bomb. Or is that's a pressure cooker? Never mind. Disregard.
We do have a rice cooker on our registry, I believe. So you could buy that. It's something that is on the website.
I'll just give you $50. How about that?
Fine, I'll take it.
It'll buy you a couple drinks on the honeymoon.
See, I would prefer to buy you something that Aaron doesn't really know about. I'll just give you money under the table.
Or we also have a tab for that on the thing too, that it is like our honeymoon fund. that
Oh,
you
I
could
hate
donate.
those.
You could donate
I
to
think
that.
those are such bullshit.
Why are those bullshit?
Because I believe what I believe, and I want to believe that
You just believe in buying things that aren't even listed.
I'm not. I said, how is giving someone cash? But we need the Thunder to win tonight. George is being super difficult.
I'm really not. Making one simple request.
All right. Anything else, Josh, before you get out of here?
No. I am completely emotionally and mentally checked out. Arsenal has started, and I am fully engaged here.
Is this on TV? Can I watch this?
It is. I think it's on. I'm watching it on Paramount, but I believe this you can
We got
watch on
Paramount in
CBS
the
Sports.
office.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. Go team.
I do believe we have a Pope update.
Ooh.
Do we?
Black smoke.
Oh, they're still it
means-
just started today, right? Conclave.
I think so.
Does that mean that
I
someone...
don't know. My mom just texted me and said black smoke.
Does
That's
that
all she
mean
said.
that they've moved on to another candidate?
No, that just means that the deliberations have begun.
Okay.
And then when they
The white smoke comes out
white
when
smoke
they
is when they
decide.
find the decision.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Pretty sweet.
Happy conclave to you Catholics. I don't even know if what I said makes sense, but that's going to do it for the rest of the Unofficial 40. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.